Hello, welcome to the channel. I hope you're well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell for all future videos. So, I've been doing a few upgrades to the camper, going away in a few days for a bit, and I thought I'd get onto a bit of husbandry stuff on the camper, which I hadn't done in a while. So just to quickly run through it, these are not how-to videos. Basically, I cleaned out my water system with this Purosol additive and just poured it in to my water tanks, ran it through all the pipes, let it sit for 24 hours and then rinsed it all out, washed it out. I cleaned out all my waste tanks with this Phoenix stuff as well. So that actually kind of worked okay, so that wasn't too bad. So what I've also decided to do for my external shower, which I had another setup, I'm going to go for a dual setup. So this is what I'm doing. I've bought another shower head, which is basically I'm going to fix to my garage area. And then the shower hose will come out of here, or the shower head hose come out of here. I'm going to tap in to the hot and cold water, which runs right under it. So that'll be directly from my water tanks or my hot and cold water supply on the camper, if I choose to use the onboard system. Let's say if I want to have an outdoor shower for myself, then I can use hot water if I really wanted to, right? The case may be. Or if I just want to do a rinse off, then I've got one of these submersible little water pumps, 12-volt water pumps, that I stick into a water barrel, which I have, and then I fix that to a garden hose thing, and it works great actually. So I've just got to change the piping and that'll be absolutely great. So basically what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to get rid of this hosing that I've already got onto this submersible. This is really just to test the system. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a length of garden hose onto here, let's say about 1 meter, something like that. And follow my logic here. So a length of garden hose on there, and then there's going to be a quick disconnect coupling on that. And then there's going to be one of these male to male couplings. So it's going to go onto there. Then on the actual trigger is going to be another, let's say, 1.5 meters of hose, another coupling, and then I can just go quick release there, so I can disconnect the hoses. The reason why I've done that is because I can use the same hose, and then when I've got my shower attachment hose coming out of the shower, I've got one of these things which actually fits onto the garden hose, and then you can put a quick disconnect on there. So then I can attach the hose from the trigger here onto this as well. So it's a dual function hose trigger, garden hose trigger, and I can either use it on the submersible or on the fixed shower head for the external, for both systems really. So it's a dual system. So as I say, I'm going to tap into the hot and cold water for the onboard shower. So that's all to be done when I get back, but I've got all the bits and pieces now. What else I've been doing? I've been going all around the camper, giving it a big deep clean, because it kind of needed it. I'm going to get a rug doctor when I get back, and I'm going to go through all the upholstery, all the cushions and everything, give that a good old wash as well. I've gone around all the outside of the camper, giving it a wash, giving it a polish with one of those kind of electric polishers as well. So I've been a busy bee. The other thing which I did, I upgraded my Wi-Fi as well. I had a mobile Wi-Fi with small ones, but they didn't have an external aerial. So what I was finding is when I was going places, although I'm just using it for Netflix and stuff like that, you know, for my Fire Stick and internal Wi-Fi, most of the time on my normal Wi-Fi, you know, if I'm using my phone, I just use the phone, it works okay. But let's say if I use the Netflix, it struggles with the signal. And especially because I was using that as a backup on mobile Wi-Fi, it was struggling with the signal because you're in a metal box. So I thought, right, I'll get another mobile Wi-Fi unit, which is about £35, really quite cheap. But I'll just get an external aerial. You can pay hundreds of pounds for external aerial, right? But I thought, I don't need it. All I need to do is just get a signal from outside, inside. So I got a cheap aerial from, you know, off eBay, Amazon, I think I got it from. Really, really cheap. It's about £15, and it works great. It works absolutely great. So I'm getting great signal inside. I've got my security camera, which I have on board as well, which works absolutely great. I was thinking about using a Ring doorbell setup. I've got a Tapo setup at home, and it works absolutely brilliant, this Tapo setup. But I was thinking about using one of those in here, but I'm not sure. I might just stick with this because it works great. The great thing about the Tapo is that I've got lots of Tapo cameras around the house and in the garage, in my workshop, in my studio, and you know, they work great. You can look onto it any time. This is just a different system, but it works absolutely great. So this is a really good battery operated camera, which the battery lasts for about 4 or 5 months. It's brilliant. And now, because my Wi-Fi is sorted out with this external aerial, it works great as well. So I don't know, I might get the Tapo Ring doorbell in here as well. I'm not sure, I'm not 100% sure, but it works great at home, by the way. So Tapo for me, great, make great internal and external cameras. But anyway, so those are my upgrades which I've been doing. Been a busy boy, cleaning inside and outside, new Wi-Fi setup, new external shower setup, a dual setup. Lots of hoses and couplings, so I've just got to fit it all now. I suppose that's it. Right, that's it for now. What else can I do? What else would you suggest I do in the camper right now? Because I don't really need a lot of stuff, actually. Most of the stuff I've got, or I could just get away with. I'm just kind of making small upgrades. I think, for me, the regular thing about regular cleaning and the regular deep clean, I've realised that I should be doing that on a more regular basis. Although the camper's clean, I think it just needs to be on a regular basis. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Right, I'm going to stick all this away and carry on my day. Catch you again. Bye now.
Hello, welcome to the channel. So I went and bought an air pistol or a BB gun, and I thought I'd do a little review on it because actually it surprised the hell out of me how good it was. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. So I went and bought one of these. This is from Pelpak's online stores, and this is a Beretta Elite 2. I've got to say, first of all, now I'm not any expert in this kind of thing, but it looks remarkably realistic. Hence why you've got to be very careful, you know, how you're transporting this as well. You know, if you're going to be going from one location to the other in a car or something, you need to put this in a box, in a proper case, in the boot. If you ever get stopped by the police, I would imagine you're going to have to declare it immediately. You can't go waving anything like this around. I mean, I'm surprised that it is so realistic. I'm surprised it doesn't have any kind of red paint on the end of it. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you ever use these kinds of things, you know, for any kind of airsoft games and everything, whether they do that. But anyway, so this is it. It's it's actually excellent. Now I'm really surprised at how accurate this at close range. It's pretty accurate completely. But even further away, from one end of the garden to the other, a good, I would say, 40 feet away, 50 feet away, it's still pretty accurate actually. I'm gonna just take the magazine out there, make sure nothing's in there, safety is on. But you just look down the sight there, line it up with the end of the sight there as well, and it's very easy. It's kind of light as well, and yeah, it's really good. Now, the one thing I wanted to get onto was the difference between the plastic balls here and the metal balls. Now, I think both pierce the cans at quite close range, right? And I'll show you the little footage now. They actually pierce the cans. The metal balls, though, really do pierce the cans. I'm surprised they even sell this, to be quite honest with you, because, you know, any kind of accident, this is really going to hurt him. Actually, it might even do some damage. So I'm not so sure about these. And this is why when I ordered the extra sort of can of this, I thought, you know what, I'm going to order a whole load of plastic ones, just to be more on the safe side as well. And I ordered a load of CO2 cartridges as well. So But the power coming out of this gun to fire these is fantastic, and that is really powerful, even from the one side of the garden to the other side. But even with these, just in case you thought, oh, I'm going to have the metal ones to have more power. No, the plastic ones are just as good for knocking over cans and things like that, and just for general target practice. So I've got to say, I'm really impressed with this. It's a load of fun. Use it sensibly, use it wisely in the garden or whatever, or on private land, or on a shooting range or an airsoft games place. It also comes with some safety glasses as well, and comes with a little pack of metal balls as well. But as I say, I mean, this little bottle here has actually got a little top there that is kind of tapered, and actually that makes it easier to reload the magazine as well through the little hole. But that's yeah, I've got to say, I'm really impressed with this. So this is the Beretta Elite 2. It's really accurate, really comfortable, and yeah, it pops away no problem. I think it suffers from all the air pistols, as far as I'm aware, is that sometimes it gets a little bit jammed, and it doesn't fire off a couple, and then eventually it releases. Anytime you take out the magazine, you might have a couple of balls still in the magazine. One sort of drops out the chamber, as it were, and then comes back out. So you've got to make sure that there's no rattling there, no balls are rattling around in there. Empty it all out and then stick your magazine back in again. But I'd say it's actually a load of fun, which is really good. That's what you want it for, right? A load of fun, as I say. But if you're transporting this, obviously you've got to be very careful. Don't go waving this around in public as well, because of course, let's not be silly about it, of course. But just one footnote, I'm surprised at how realistic it is from a person who doesn't know about these things, how realistic it is and how easy it would be to mistake this for a real thing. I'm surprised to say they didn't have a red band on it, or an orange or a yellow band on it, just to show that it's not a toy per se, but it's whatever. Now these are still regarded as firearms, I believe, in this country, but it's all down to the muzzle velocity that's coming out. So anything that fires out a projectile is regarded as a firearm in this country, but it really depends on the muzzle velocity, what's coming out. So obviously, you still got to be extra special careful when you're shooting these things, even in the airsoft games, I would imagine. That's why you're going to wear goggles, or ski goggles, or whatever you're going to wear, and those kinds of things. But say, just for a purchase, I think I paid was it over £65 or something for the Beretta. I bought extra CO2 canisters. I bought extra metal ones, and then I bought 4 bottles of plastic ones here as well. I think all in all, with the delivery from Pellet Packs, which delivered right to your door, you need ID to accept it as well. I think it was about £120 all in all. So this is hours and hours of fun, days, weeks of fun. For that price, I would say, and then just replace the balls and the CO2 canisters as and when. But the Beretta Elite 2, I'm very, very impressed. Very impressed at how accurate it is. All I can say. That's all I can say. Right. I hope you found that useful. I'm going to go and have a bit more target practice now, and I'll catch you on another video. Ta-da. So went away in the Breaker Bag camper for the weekend. Let's get into this one. Hello, welcome to the channel. Hope you're well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell for future videos. So this video is all about pub stopovers, and also about campsites that you're paying a lot of money for with really poor facilities. So let me just get into the first one. We wanted to go away for this bank holiday weekend, but we know we wouldn't stay until Monday. We had to be back for Sunday because we had to work. So one of the problems was getting in on campsites which were fully booked. We kind of, we appreciate that. We'd also know that the prices were going to be stupid because it's August and it's bank holiday. Okay, so we were prepared for that. So we're looking at pub stopovers. Now, I always thought that pub stopovers were more sort of £10-15 maybe you might pay, but then you could go into the pub and buy some food, Well, what we found was one particular one, which is a nice general area, lovely walks that we went on, but paying £25 for a field just outside the car park, not very well kept. The pub had just reopened. They doing bar food, but a nice friendly welcome. But it wasn't all that. So I'm kind of thinking £25 for no electricity, not really well kept areas, a bit grotty actually. And the facilities just weren't brilliant either. In fact, we had to dive into the pub just to, go to the loo because the facilities were actually pretty poor. Okay, we stayed there the night. That's fine. And it was just peeing down with rain all night, which, I quite like the sound of rain. But I say, the next day just rained. So we were supposed to go to another Sial site the next day near Bath. And, it was just peeing down with rain. So I actually emailed the guy and said, look, we're not going to go. We're not going to get there. We're just going to head back because, it's just peeing down rain. What's the point in going to a soggy field, Anyway, so before we left, we thought, let's go and see the in-laws in Swindon. And we thought, well, actually, there's a nice campsite near Swindon, right in the forest. And we thought we'd go over there. So phoned them up, and they said they had a space, and we kind of to and fro in and how wet it was going to be, and would they be able to find a space for us. But it was £31 for a grass pitch without any electric, and £41 with electric. And I thought, do you know what? Let's just go £41 with the electric, right? I'd also tried to phone up Devise's campsite, and they wanted something like, I can't remember, it's £35, maybe 30, just over £30 for the grass field, no electric. And also they wanted something like £55 or £57 for a fully serviced pitch. That's all they had. And I crikey, one night, that's all I want. I'm not going to pay that. Anyway, so we went to this campsite on top of the hill, Poston Hill, I think it's called, near Savernake Forest. It's a beautiful, beautiful campsite, right? Absolutely lovely. You're right in the trees. You park up in nice grass areas and all that kind of stuff. You go through the trees, you go for a fantastic walk through Savernake Forest. You've got a footpath that takes you down the hill to Marlborough where you can do shopping and whatever. It's just a lovely, peaceful, tranquil area. However, the facilities are absolutely atrocious because you've got no showers. You've basically got a very small wash-up area outside. You've got just really old toilets there, an old toilet block. That's just an old wooden building or anything. It's like you went back to the 1960s. It was really bloody poor. So I'm thinking, right, £41 for a bit of electric pitch beneath the trees. Again, beautiful site. The facility is absolutely rubbish. So if you go online and look at reviews for that campsite, you probably read exactly the same. Beautiful site, fantastic Savernake Forest walks and everything, but facilities are terrible. So why is that? This used to be a camping and caravan site. Then it was handed back or sold back to the Forestry Commission. And you would think, you really need to do better here. You need to do better at producing sites that people want to go to, are happy to pay the price. And even if they're not happy to pay the price, they accept they will pay the price. But when they get there, the facilities are second to none or majorly revamped or whatever. It just didn't sit well with me at all that you're paying all these higher prices or you're paying prices for no facilities. Now, if let's say there's no electricity or it's a pub stopover, I would pay £10 just to park there the night. But, you would go and, go into the pub. You'd probably go into the pub and buy a couple of pints and maybe a bite to eat, as we did anyway. But we spent £25 and we went into the pub. The food wasn't that great. There's hardly anybody in the pub. And outside wasn't that great either. So you spent £40 or £50 just there that night. You think, well, what have we done here? You go to another site where you spend £40 or £50 with electricity. Beautiful site. But the facilities should be a lot better for that kind of money. I don't know about you. And I haven't been doing this, motorhome in a long time myself here. So this is just an impression. But prices just seem to be ridiculously high, and value for money seems to be out the window for a lot of these places. Now, I appreciate some of this is down to seasonal inflation as well. Summer holidays, people, and they're going to rip you off. They're going to put higher prices in. But let's just say right in the middle of the winter, I wonder how many of these prices will come dramatically down, and what they're prepared to do for you just to go to those sites in the winter, the ones that do remain open. It'd be very interesting to see, because I say, a lot of these CL sites are charging £20-25 now and more just to go at a CL site. And you think, well, what services you got? And you go there and it's just at the back of the farmer's yard, which is fine in itself, but not £25 a night or £25 or £30 a night with electricity. Maybe 15, maybe £10, £15 a night, but not that much. Okay, you go to other sites and you're paying £30-40 a night and you got all the facilities that you need. They're nice and well maintained. So why are they able to do that for that price, but other sites want to charge you just as much or sometimes a lot more, and the facilities are not up to scratch? There seems to be a huge disparity in this country, not only in the prices but also the facilities that they offer from campsite to campsite, even under the same organisation, even under the same banner. My son and his friends wanted to go camping this coming weekend. They were sort of ringing around loads of campsites to see, if a few of the friends could just take one big tent. They've got a huge tent that they could take, and they wanted to charge them £350 for 2 nights. £350 for 2 nights with no electricity, nothing, no services, no food, nothing like that. It's just to pitch the tent. Now, for me, that is just 100% ripping people off. In fact, that's a disgrace. That is an absolute disgrace. And another campsite they're talking about, because I've tried to book there before, and I've always thought they were totally silly expensive as well. But this is what happens. You're getting campsite owners who think, I'm going to charge even more. So if the argument is that the electricity is a lot more expensive to supply, so okay, if you're going to supply electricity and people take it, then you say, right, okay, we'll charge you a bit more for that. But if you're not going on an electric pitch, then it should be just really cheap. It should be, £10-15 per night. That's about it. It shouldn't be anything more than that. And anything more than that is just profiteering. And if they are going to charge a lot more than that, then they have to be enforced to provide really good facilities, squeaky clean facilities, modern facilities. They have to invest in that. Now, granted, some, let's say CL sites or some campsites really do pay attention. And you take your hat off to those because they make it like a really nice stay. You pay £25 or £30, whatever, and you think, even if it's CL site, if it's a normal campsite, you think, it's a nice day. We've gone to major campsites before, and they're terrible, all overgrown, and it's facilities all over the place. The pitches are completely uneven or rutted. The facilities, you pay for a fully serviced pitch, and there's no facilities there as well. So you have some horror stories, and anybody can have horror stories. But the problem is there's such disparity, and you kind of want to say to these campsites, you've just charged me £40 here, £50. What is it I've actually got? What is it I've actually got here? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But as I say, it was a nice time away. It was nice to get away in the camper. But yeah, facilities just not up to scratch, and not for the value. There's no value for money in terms of facilities, as far as I'm concerned, at some of these campsites. And some, where they do have the facilities, they're making you pay a lot of money. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for future videos. And I'll catch you again. Bye now. Winter camping getaways can be painful and cold. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. I hope you're all well. So I've made a few videos recently on social issues, but also I'm still going to be making videos on getting away in the camper and looking at stories within that as well. So I made a few videos recently about the costs that I found of certain campsites and camping holidays, but also the kind of value for money. So now we've gone into autumn, looking into winter. I'm looking to get away in the camper in different campsites I'm not going to be going to very small campsites. I'm going to go into larger campsites to get all the facilities. But I'm really interested to see, well, what the price is going to be. What kind of deals are you going to get? And also, well, how uncomfortable is it going to be? How cold can it be? And what the cost is going to be to keep yourself warm in a camper overnight. Now, obviously, with heating and gas and all that sort of stuff. Now, if you're just going to go to a big campsite and be able to plug in, then obviously you're going to use their power electricity. So if it's still in the region about 40 or 50 pounds a night to stay at a campsite with full electrics and everything, then you kind of think, well, what's the bloody point? What's the point of that? It's just way too expensive. But if a lot of campsites, they're going to be suffering, let's say, over winter, because not many people are going to go there, that's where you're going to get your best deal, aren't you? Or you should get your best deal. So if you can get a night for 20, 25 pounds a night for two people with a camper, that would say, actually, that's not a bad deal. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm looking to go to. We've got a few dates booked already, or we've got a few dates that we're looking at, I should say. And then we're hoping to book those really soon before Christmas. Then we're looking at after Christmas as well, a few dates here and there to be able to get away just either locally or a little bit further afield for a couple of days. But this is where I kind of look at the whole holiday industry and wonder, why is there such disparity between prices and the value that you get and the service that you get? It's almost like in the summer holidays or any kind of school holiday period, a lot of places, not all, I've got to say, because some places are absolutely fantastic all year round, but a lot of places, they forget that you might be a return customer. You might want to come back. And if they don't take care of you or don't take care of your needs, and they don't give you a good deal or they don't give you good value or great service, then also you're not going to go back there again. We've been to campsites in the past, let's say, in the camper, and you think this is a bit of a disgrace, really. It's dirty, it's unkept, whatever, and you're thinking you've paid a lot of money here, comparatively so, for the night, and you think, wow, this is never coming here again. Whereas you go to other campsites, you pay the same money, maybe a little bit more, but the same money, and you're getting a great service, well-kept grounds. They're really friendly, really, courteous. Everything's great. Everything's great. It's peaceful, it's relaxing, everything's working in your favor. So you get those great campsites, which may want to charge more money, but, you think, well, okay, fine, I understand it's summer holidays. But then you think, well, why should they be charging so much more money? And you got the other campsites that just don't give you great service at all. And you think, well, don't they acknowledge the fact that, well, they've just lost a customer for life here? So then it moves into the winter period, autumn, winter period, when less people are going to be going away in their campers, let's say, or in their caravans, because most people are going to be at home, let's say. It's only older people or older couples who really are going to be going away. So then you wonder, well, what kind of service they're going to give you? Are they going to be so happy to see you? Are they going to be so thankful that you're bringing them there, more custom? Well, of course they are. They bloody well should be as well. The problem is that, as I say, a lot of these places, they forget in the summer because custom is of abundance. They don't know what to do with them. Say, oh yeah, we don't have to worry about customers anymore, look, because they're always coming. If you don't want to be here, then somebody else will book it. That's the kind of attitude that you get. If you don't book it now, it'll all be gone. Oh, I'll tell you what, I might be able to squeeze you in, but it'll be about £65 a night. You're like, going, what? Or you go to these pub campsites, which are just absolutely ridiculous now, some of them, and you think, what have I just paid for? I paid for that, and you want me to go into your pub, and the food and the beer is crap as well. I'm spending a fortune on a night which I just haven't enjoyed. And this, unfortunately, over the last year, we've come across quite a few of these as well. Just nights that we haven't really enjoyed the place that we've been. We thought they could have been better. Contrast, we've been at other places where we've absolutely loved where we've been. It's been great, absolutely fantastic. So you go into the winter months now and you think, well, are we going to be treated any better? Are we going to be given a better service? Are we going to be given better value? Is it going to be painful to go to these places? Are we going to be left out in the cold in terms of service, in terms of actually physically being cold because we can't get anything to work anymore? Then you get into your camper and then you realise that your heating doesn't work, or it suddenly breaks down in the middle of the night, and then you've got your wife or your husband, complaining left, right and centre, it's too cold, you're both shivering, and it all goes wrong very, very quickly, doesn't it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But winter camper getaways, is it always painful? Is it always going to be cold? What is the reception that you get? Do you think there is a difference between winter camping and summer camping in the way you're received by these places? All campsites, you've got to generalize, of course you do. But, obviously some campsites are always going to be welcoming and they're always going to try and give you a great deal. Other campsites you think, won't go there again. And it's not always based upon the facilities. It's based upon the attitude of the people there when you go there. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for future videos. And I will catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now. Do you wish you voted for somebody else? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. Hope you're well. So we've had recent elections in this country, and many countries around the world have elections. Obviously, the United States coming up with their presidential election very soon. But once you've voted, do you wish you'd voted for somebody else? Regardless of whether it's politics, whether it's for your local knitting circle president, whatever it is, do you wish you'd voted for somebody else? Because whoever gets into that position of power, whichever group, whichever party, whichever individual person gets into that position, do they let you down? Do you think, well, do you know what? I believed that you were going to do something about this. In fact, you've done the complete opposite. I believed that you were going to fix all the wrongs of the previous administration, the previous person in power. But in fact, you're just doing exactly the same thing. This is one of the criticisms of political parties when they get into power, on the premise that they're going to, what the previous administration was doing was completely wrong. To say, well, if it was all completely wrong, why didn't you come in on day one, you change it? You just change it. If it's that bad, why don't you change it? Then you start digging a little bit deeper and you think, actually, the party or the person that's just got into power now, then they were actually in power a couple of elections back, and they did nothing about this as well. And this has been a long-standing issue that nobody seems to want to tackle. So you get to a point where you're voting for somebody or a party, and you think, can you even trust them? Can you even trust them to make the kind of decisions that you think you were voting for? So then once they're in power, and you think, well, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for you to be something that you're not. So this is the kind of criticism that we're facing here right now in the UK. Where not all, granted, not all, I'm not making broad strokes here, but there's many people coming out who voted Labour, who won the general election, and they're critical of the leader, Keir Starmer. They're critical of the Labour policies. They're critical of what Labour are trying to do. He said, well, hold on, this is not what was on the cards. This is not what we're supposed to be doing. And they're getting it from all angles. If you're a hard and fast Labour supporter, if you're always a Tory supporter, you're a Liberal supporter, they're getting it from all quarters. Then he started talking about, like, Keir Starmer, the leader. He's not a Labour person, and he's a multi-millionaire, and he comes from a certain type of people that actually this isn't represents the common man. Then we're talking about the immigration crisis as well, the illegal immigration crisis as well. We've had riots here in the UK, and then how people reacted to Keir Starmer and the way he got involved in it as well. I mean, you're never going to be winning in this kind of scenario as a politician, and probably the best thing to do is just stay away from it as well. Just look at it from afar, or advise on it from afar, or deal with it from afar in your Cobra meetings, let's say, here in the UK. But in terms of letting your people down, it was very interesting. I was listening to an interview the other day where hard and fast Labour supporters were really angry, really emotional about who they thought they'd voted for. And then now that Labour are in power, they said, we're never going to vote for Labour again. We are hard and fast Labour. We are never voting for them again. We're never doing this. Now, this happens all the time. From either party. A party gets in and says, I'm never going to vote for Tory again. I've been a lifelong Tory supporter. I'm never going to vote for them again. This happens all the time. So maybe it's just, it's bias reporting. I get it. I get that point of view. But at the same time, they're out there. They're coming under a lot of pressure. And this is probably the one government that I think has come under a lot of pressure, a lot of criticism so early in their reign, more so than I can think of others in recent years. Now, there have been, of course, and there's always going to be pot shots thrown at a new government. But some of the policies that they've already started to employ, some of the things are affecting, pensions, some of them affecting winter fuel bills, some of them things affecting, immigration and things like that, some of the things that are affecting day-to-day living costs. And you think, what are you doing? This is not the way Labour should be. But in other ways, it's kind of gone too far on a Labour policy. And the thing is, life is really expensive for people all over, not only just in the UK, but all over the world. And it's got even more expensive. And you think, actually, this is making life more restrictive, more expensive, and harder for people, when actually Labour is the party of making life easier for people. So you kind of wonder, do you wish you voted for somebody else? Do you wish you voted to keep the status quo under the previous administration? Wherever you are in the world, are you looking at somebody like Trump against Kamala Harris? If Biden was still in charge there, or would he be running for the next campaign? Who would you have voted? Would you have immediately gone to Trump? Would you immediately gone to Biden? Or do you think, this is a total shit show, I'm not voting for anybody? What do you feel now with the two parties? Who do you vote for? It could be any country in the world. And then, I always wonder, in terms of politics, in terms of voting for somebody else, if you don't know that person, how can you vote for them? How do you think that person is right? That person is right for me, because you just don't know them as a person. If you're voting for somebody is to be the leader of your club, the president of your club, the president of your, whatever, of the committee, let's say, well, you know them, you see them. There's a tangible thing to that relationship. But if it's like a politician who just appears on TV, then you're kind of disconnected. Then you kind of think, well, what am I believing here? What am I voting for? Am I voting for what I'm being fed, what I'm being told by other people, by the media, by online, or am I just listening to what that person tells me? And is that just a script written by somebody else, by the party people, just so he sounds good or she sounds good or whatever? But can you really trust them? And then in the end, do you wish you voted for somebody else? Or do you wish you never voted at all? That's one of the problems, isn't it? It's about engaging with people and being honest. But do you ever meet an honest politician? Well, you'd hope so, but it's not often, is it? Let's face it. I've always had this thing, well, if people get into politics, I think they probably go in with good intentions. They go in with the intention of trying to do good for their local community, let's say. But they can easily be compromised. They'd be compromised by the party, be compromised by the government and the corridors of power in wherever they are. And all of a sudden they start becoming a corporate politician, a career politician, as opposed to being a politician of the people that they were originally went in there for. And that's the problem. You end up thinking, I wish I never voted for you. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for future videos. And I will catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now. University fees are bleeding me dry, this lifelong debt. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. I hope you're all well. So my lad's just gone off to university, and yeah, we're dealing with the financial pressure, the implications of that. But not only us as parents, but also him who's gone to university as well. The amount of debt that they're going to have to take on now for the next 3 or 4 years. So a few years ago, the system in the UK was you would be paying something like £3,000 a year, something like that, for your tuition fees, and then you'd pay, whatever it was, for your living costs. But also the government at the time ramped it up to over £9,000 a year. And the living costs just went up and up and up as well, especially along with all other living costs as well. So now you're getting a minimum of, let's say, 3-year university degree course, tuition fees £28,000. That's pure debt. Then you're having to look at the living costs. You hear of some students coming out with 50, 60, 70,000 pounds worth of debt. That is no way to start your life, just having that debt. Now, of course, I get it that you don't have to start paying this straight away. And if you're never working in that industry, and if you never earn above a certain threshold, you don't have to start paying it back. But at some point, the reality is you will start paying it back, and you always have this, over your head as well. But, as a parent, you don't want your child to have that debt. But at the same time, you've got to say, well, if you're going to go to university, you have to be adult enough and responsible enough to take on that debt. You have to go in eyes wide open, because this is going to be a lifelong debt as well. But the point is that now the government seem to be, or they're trying to put up the interest rate on the repayments of these debts as well. So individuals who go to university are never really going to be able to get rid of that debt. They might just be able to pay off the interest, but they're never going to be able to pay off that debt. This could just stick around with them for years and years and years. This is very much now like a system that was in the United States for years and years. But kids going to university, going to college, and just having thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds, dollars, shekels worth of debt. And it's just crazy. And this is, one of the conversations we were having with our lad before he went to university, say, look, is there another way you could do your career, get on with your career without going to university? Not that we don't want you to go to university, of course. We really want you to go to university. We really want you to have that experience. But is there another way that you don't have this debt? We're going to try, the best we can. And as you know, if you've got children, wherever they're going, you're always going to try and help them out as best you can. And, it's bleeding me dry. It's everything's going. Everything's just being sectioned off or funneled off, just to help support him for the next 3 years as well. And it's just a weekly cost, but also, you got to pay for the maintenance, the housing. That's only for the first year. Then he's going to go into a house next year. We had no idea how much this is going to cost. Really, we just don't know what the cost is going to be. The only thing that we know for sure, that the tuition fees per year is £9,300. But here's another thing. This came out in COVID as well. When university students were in university and they weren't allowed to go to lectures, they said, well, we're going to do all the lectures over Zoom calls. I said, well, if you're doing it over Zoom calls, then why are we paying all these tuition fees? Why are we paying these extra fees for going to university? Why don't you just do it from home? Why don't you just do it from somewhere else? So there was a big hoo-ha about that as well. Now we find out that actually a lot of the university courses are still done by over Zoom call as well. So you're kind of thinking, well, what's the point in that? Why is a student going to university and the university not doing a physical course or a physical lecture? Why does it have to be over a Zoom call? Now, you could say this might benefit the student, it might benefit the lecturer as well. But the point is, you send your child to university to go to physical lectures, not to Zoom call lectures. But as I say, this all adds up to the whole university fees debate, and it's bleeding you dry. Not only the student themselves, but also the parents and the support system going into university as well. And it's lifelong debt. It's lifelong debt, and you've got to wonder, well, is it really worth it at the end of it? Is it really worth it? And this is where we were always kind of backwards and forwards on this whole thing. Is it really worth it to have that debt, to come out of it, and then you're going to have that debt for the rest of your life? And there's no real chance of you paying it unless you earn a huge sum of money just to pay it off quickly. And let's face it, very few people are ever going to be able to do that. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the whole student debt thing? Student grants, paying it back, if your child has gone to university in recent years, the amount of debt that they have now, how do they feel about it, having to pay all that money back? And do they think ultimately it was worth it? It was worth going to university and having all that debt? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. And I will catch you again in another video coming very soon. Bye now. Is illegal immigration killing this country? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. I hope you're all well. So if you ever turn on the TV news, there's always some story about illegal migrants crossing the channel or getting in by any means necessary into the country. And it's this illegal immigration problem that not only this country has, but all around Europe. And most of these illegal immigrants are coming from Africa and the Middle East and war-torn countries, let's say, or they're fleeing some kind of oppression. But there's also a claim that many of these illegal immigrants are actually of young, healthy men, adult fighting men, as it were. And a lot of these that are coming over are criminals as well. And they've come from countries where they've been dealing in kind of illegality, or they've had to develop that way because of the travels that they've had. They get to this country and they just end up being complete wrong uns. So, is it killing the country? Well, we've got to look at the numbers. The numbers are always going to be a problem. And successive governments haven't really tackled with it. In fact, not only this country, but all around Europe. In fact, Europe now, they're taking a much harder line on illegal immigration than the Brits are. In fact, let's say countries like Italy, they're stopping the boats. They're actually turning them around. They're fining and also confiscating boats and ships of these agencies that are there to try and help these illegal immigrants crossing the water as well. So they're really tackling it. They're going head on. I mean, yes, they've had a certain amount of reduction, a good percentage, I think 30-40% of illegal immigrants. But if you think the problem is bad here, you've got to go to places like Italy or Germany or other countries like that where they're just being flooded with people, and they just don't know what to do with them. That's why they've had to take such a hard line. So here, you think, oh, okay, 30, 40, 100 people coming across the sea a day. Well, actually, you know what? It could be a lot worse than that. And the thing is that these people have gone all the way across Europe and they haven't been able to find a home all the way across, and they keep on coming to Britain. And one of the problems is that there isn't any deterrent to come to Britain. I'm not talking about European countries being a deterrent to come all this way. I'm talking about from this country as well. Now, is this, whenever you start talking about immigration or illegal immigration, you're probably immediately positioned to the right. People think you're some kind of far right activist, far right, whatever it is. And that's actually not the case. Now, there could be an element of that. Of course there could be. But it's not just about that. It's actually about an acknowledgement that this country needs immigration. We need people to come to this country. But there's a difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. So I'll give you an example. I used to live in the United States many years ago, and at one point I wanted to settle over there. So there's no way I could settle over there. I needed extra visas, or ultimately I needed a green card. Well, there's no way for me to get a green card. I tried and tried lots of different avenues, a legal process. They had this kind of lottery system where you could go in, and we're talking 30 odd years ago now, of course, but there was ways to try and apply for this legally and stay in the country legally. And I could have stayed there legally on a visa tied to a particular company, but I wanted to spread my wings and go out and do whatever I wanted to do. The only other way to do it is either meet a girl and purposely marry them to get the green card, or just stay there illegally and somehow find a job. Now, obviously, I was in a professional occupation there, so that was never going to fly anyway. But there was something inside me just did not want to do it. But other countries were making it so difficult for you to stay there legally and actually illegally as well, that it became a real problem. So I've got some insight here, and I've gone to various other countries, lived and worked in other countries, and how tight their restrictions are. And then they don't give an inch when it comes to illegal immigration. And then you think, well, hold on a minute. Why are we and other European countries being so forthcoming? Why is it because, we've got to feel sorry for people? Well, of course we do. If there's legitimate reasons they're coming over, if there's legitimate oppression, if they're fleeing for some reason. But a lot of these people coming over, they're not fleeing from oppression per se. They're fleeing because of economics. It's economic migration as well. And a lot of these are just young men, young single men who can come over and they can find work wherever. They don't need to come all the way across Europe. They don't need to come into the UK because they see it as a soft touch. They think, if I can get to the promised land, I can get there and I can get an easy life. I get housing, I get benefits, and I can do whatever I want because I can claim oppression. And then all of a sudden, I've been left to my own devices. And this is a problem now. You've got a situation where this has gone on for so long without any kind of proper countermeasure. There are some people in communities are feeling hard done by. They're feeling hard done by because actually housing stock is taken over. Hotels are taken up by illegal immigration or to house illegal immigration as well. And then there's a bit of a conflict. Now, a lot of these illegal immigrants are also disproportionately sent to poorer areas as well of the country. So again, it just butts heads. So this is why you're getting people jumping on the bandwagon and having riots. There's no excuse for it. You can't condone that kind of action, but you can certainly understand people's wanting to raise a question or protest, legally protest. But all of a sudden, if you raise a hand, if you ask a question about illegal immigration or this kind of thing, you could easily be labelled as far right. And the question is so much bigger than this. Now, whilst, as I say, there are far right elements to this, and people jump on the bandwagon, those of sound mind, let's say, and of sound reason, it's not about just immigration, people coming in. It's not about that, because everybody acknowledges you need migration. You need people to move around into jobs that cannot be filled. But this is about illegal migration. And this is about people coming across the channel, or by any means necessary, overstaying their welcome, not going back to wherever they've come from, and then just relying on the receiving state, in this case the UK, to house them and give them benefits, and in some cases give them better benefits than the nationals of this country. Now, you could say, this is just far-right, white British people who are complaining about illegal immigration. No, actually, it's not. It never has been. It's from all quarters of society, all different ethnic backgrounds, who understand this problem and understand that people coming into the country, any country, that are not marshalled, that are not counted, that is not governed, there's no restrictions, all of a sudden there's a free-for-all. So you've got to have some kind of restriction. So is this killing this country? The problem is it's dividing the country. It's creating problems, social unrest. Because if there's a lackluster government, successive governments who haven't been able to tackle this problem. So what do you do? What is the answer? What is the solution? Do you put some kind of wall in the middle of the channel to stop this? I mean, the problem is you're getting people dying in the channel on a regular basis, in the Mediterranean, all over the place, because they want to keep on coming over. And it's the gangs, it's the illegal cartels, let's say, who are in charge of this. That's what's got to be stopped straight away. Those boats that are coming over, it's got to be quite simple, in my opinion, to stop them coming over, to stop that trade. That government is ultimately responsible for what leaves their shore. So if those boats are leaving France to come over here, then they are ultimately responsible for what leaves their shore. Let's say if boats are leaving Egypt, going to Italy, then they are ultimately responsible what leaves their shore. So people, through desperation or through economic migration, are putting themselves at risk, greater risk, and sometimes that price is too high, where they're actually dying en route. So that's a terrible situation in itself, that people are going to want to risk it all just to try and get to somewhere where they can have a better life. And my heart bleeds for them. But the point is, it's still got to be controlled. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And it will get worse. And not only will the illegal immigration get worse, the unrest will get worse. And you can have major problems in towns and cities all over the country. And there'll be civil unrest, and there'll be attacks on people when they don't need to be. And it's wrong to be attacking innocent people if they haven't done anything. But where somebody is an illegal immigrant and they've committed a crime, let's say in this country, then what the hell are we doing? You can't be just treating them like, give them all the rights, or, let's just put them in prison. So now they've come to this country, they committed a crime, and now they're being fed 3 times a day and housed in a prison. It's easy for them. Now then, as soon as they come out of prison, they're sent back? Hardly. The process takes too long. The whole process of dealing with these people and then sending them back is taking too long. Then they get criticised, the government, for sending them back or sending them to a country. And then you wonder what the hell is going on. Whichever way you look at it, the way it's been dealt with, the way it has been dealt with, and the reaction to it is wrong. But it can only get worse. And the problem is, if you talk about this openly, you're labelled as some kind of far-right person. But it's not about that. It's not about migration. For me, it's never been about migration. We need migration in this country. Every country needs it. If you go to another country to work legally, great, because that country needs your skills, or you can bring something to that. But when you're just coming in and expecting that the country's going to take care of you, think, well, you're not our citizen. We don't need to take care of you. Just like if we go to another country, we just plonk ourselves in another country and say, no, I want to stay here now. It doesn't work like that. If we have to stick to the rules, then other people have to stick to the rules as well. Now, the percentage of illegal immigrants who are genuine asylum seekers is actually a relatively small proportion. I can't remember what the actual percentage is. I want to say something like 20%. It isn't 80, 90%. It's really, really low. So most people are coming in illegally by ill-found means, by dangerous means. They're risking their lives, risking the lives of, let's say, the infant children in some cases. And, life is worth nothing, it's worth very little. They come to this country, and in some cases, a small percentage, granted again, they're committed crimes, or they get into very small insular communities, and all of a sudden that manifests into lots of social issues as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But is illegal immigration killing this country? I wouldn't say it's killing it, but it's causing a big problem that is not being dealt with. And it is causing social unrest, as we've seen in riots in recent weeks as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell for all future videos. And I will catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now. Is Google stealing your identity? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. I hope you're well. Is Google stealing your identity? Is it stealing your data? So basically, how does Google work? How does YouTube work for this matter? Basically, what it's going to do, it's going to actively record data from your searches, whatever you type in a search box, whatever you're watching, whatever article that you read, and it's going to record that data. Now, you could argue, well, this is personal data. This is personal to me. Why is Google recording it? Well, they would say that they're recording this so they know what you kind of want to watch or what your preferences are. Therefore, they can make suggestions of what you want to do or what you may want to see next. Anytime you enter a search query, then they can tailor what they think they know about you, or in terms of thinking AI, their algorithms, what they know about you in terms of data, so they can suggest the best possible options for your search query. But is it always accurate? Is it always open and honest? Is it always objective as rather being subjective to you? And this has been one of the criticisms of Google, especially, that they're gathering all this data that we don't know, but then what they're suggesting is not the full answer, the full picture. Lots of people with conspiracy theories, let's say, and people with agendas and bias against Google will say this is all wrong. But from a user's point of view, you kind of think, well, it kind of works. We just don't know. There are lots of people out there who are doing research right now, especially in the United States. They're putting research against Google and firms like Google to monitor what they're doing and what data they're giving you, but also the influence that they're giving you as well. And this is all subliminal stuff. We don't really know what they're doing, but we kind of see it when, let's just say, you're looking for something, you're speaking about something, and then your Alexa in your room will suddenly start suggesting something like that. Or you can see on yourself, you'll be talking about something, then on your Facebook feed or your Google feed or whatever, you'll see lots of ads about what you've been talking about as well. And you can test this out yourself. You can experiment with it, just saying a word repeatedly or talking about something on a repeated nature, and see what ads pop up, what happens. And this is all part of the mechanism. They're listening to you with your device, your phone device. They know what you're tapping into your search queries for your Google or any other search engine that they've kind of adopted and helped as well. Also, all of a sudden, they know about you. They know what you're doing. So if you don't want anybody to know anything, I don't know personally whether using a VPN would stop this. I'm not sure it would. But at the same time, if you really don't want Google to find out about your personal preferences, well, you've got to come off the internet, I'm afraid. You've got to come off Google. Just come off it. Now, there are some other ones other search engines that are not intrusive and they don't collect your data. But again, for how long? It could be that they either run out of business or that they will start adopting that as well. At some point, that they've got to be able to get data from you, so they know a little bit about you, so that they can tailor their service to you. And that's what Google's been doing for years and years and years. They do this in every aspect. And the problem is, before it was really overt. They'll say, we're trying to help you do this. And YouTube as well, we're trying to help you do this. But what goes on in the background is that we just don't know. And there's so much stuff that's going on behind the scenes. And you think, wow, I wasn't asking for this. And I see this in my YouTube feed as well, YouTube announcements, let's say. I may have caught something once and maybe just watched 10 seconds, 15 seconds of it. Then all of a sudden you're bombarded with lots of similar kinds of videos. You think, well, I'm not really interested in it. But you keep on putting it through to me, and I'm just not really that interested. So then you don't watch it, and then you actively, the only way to stop that happening is to actively not even look at that, not even glimpse at it, and just search for something else. Keep on searching for something else. Let's say sports for whatever, and you won't get the social things or the gym thoughts or something like that. You won't get that anymore. So it's about teaching about you as a user, showing Google or showing YouTube that, look, we don't want this anymore. So you have to play them at their own game. But at the same time, it's kind of inevitable. This is going to happen. They're going to get your data. Now, interestingly, Google are coming under a lot of pressure from the European Union as well, and being fined for their use and their policies and the way they're gathering data as well, and how they can influence as well. And they've already started talking about, well, do Google and Facebook and other people like that, do they influence the way people vote? Are they people the way they think? Are we talking about echo chambers? Are we talking about, how people form ideas and concepts if they're constantly bombarded by, a bias towards this way or that way? It really depends. You can have a bias towards, let's say, Trump or Kamala Harris, let's say, right now in terms of US presidential election campaign. They're also, you might be so anti-Trump, for example, because you're constantly being fed by mainstream media, but also by the internet and Google and Facebook, all negativity about that certain candidate. So this is how it can warp your thinking and actually even change the way you're thinking, your opinions, without you even knowing it. This is the criticism leveled at Google in particular. They're saying, they're stealing my identity. They're changing my identity in many ways. They're stealing my data. Is it true? There's possibly an element of that. It really depends how Machiavellian you think they are operating. Many people would say, yes, this is deliberate. This is exactly what they're doing. They're doing it because they want to shape the way you think. And we're going to only give you the information that we believe as a data organization, as it were, that this is what you want. And we're going to keep on force feeding you that. But if that's all you're getting, then you don't really have a chance to explore your own ideas unless you deliberately come away from what Google and Facebook and other search engines are feeding you, and you just ask for specific things and random things all the time. So it keeps it guessing as well. Are Google practicing the dark arts? I'm really not sure. I'm not here to give you that answer. But certainly there's probably a bit of credo in the criticism that they're receiving in terms of the data that they're gathering from you without you even knowing it. Just be aware of what you're doing, what you're saying online, even to your phone, even when you're not using your phone, because the process is there. They are listening. It's gathering data. They're testing these functions right now. In the next couple of months, in the next years, you're going to see this more and more and more revelations about how this is happening. Because I was watching an interview the other day about the research that is going on in the United States, how to monitor the likes of Google as well. And it's really alarming. Yeah, it's alarmist in one ways as well, but it's alarming to think that all your data, regardless of what it is being used, and it's being used to not only control the way you think, maybe warp the way you think, and also being used to warp what other people are thinking as well. Now, again, they would say this is in support of what your preferences are and everything like that to provide a better service for you. And whilst that is true, there's always another side to it as well. And we got to know, what is the other side to it? That's the question. What is the other side to it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. And I will catch you again. Another video coming very soon. Bye now. The empty nest syndrome for dads and mums, I suppose. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. So this video, I'm going to keep it short, but this is about this empty nest syndrome, which is more associated with mums, but I'm here as a dad to kind of talk about it a little bit as well, because when your child or children leave the nest, they leave home, whether to go off to college, university, or to move away for a job or join the forces or whatever it is that they do, there is that sense of, well, where is everybody? You know, where is the noise? Where is the chatter? It goes really quiet in the house. And things start to play on your mind as well of what's going on, or, you know, what are they doing now? And, you know, you kind of prepare a meal and you think, oh, you should be preparing something else, you know, for your children as well who are not there. You know, you're no more you're shouting upstairs to say, you know, come down for your dinner, you know, where is this, where is that? It all gets very quiet. I was having a chat with my neighbour the other night talking about this. I was basically saying, you know, I bet everybody in the neighbourhood is really thankful now that my lad is gone, because there's no more shouting in the house. And, you know, the noise reverberates around the neighbourhood when you're kind of calling each other and to start to shout. And it's, you know, it's a bit comical on one hand, but it's also, you know, it kind of gets you. This doesn't just affect mums, okay, this empty nest syndrome. I think it affects everybody. It affects, you know, fathers and mothers as well. Because, you know, let's say if you've got a good relationship with your child as well, which I had as well, but, you know, it's a difference now. In some ways, you know, your child leaves and you kind of breathe a little bit. You know, there isn't always that angst that you've got to do something for your child, or, you know, you're butting heads in some cases. But at the same time, if you've got a good relationship, then, you know, you want to have that connection, you know, whether it's fathers and sons and sports or mechanics or just doing stuff together, mothers and sons and daughters, you know, doing whatever they do, you know, or just, you know, just general family life, just being together. But once that goes, then you kind of think, well, what do I do now? You know, and then you kind of find yourself a little bit. You know, this is what happens, right? Your children leave the nest. You end up finding yourself a bit, or couples rediscovering themselves a little bit. And, you know, yeah, we're all going through that as well. But it's just the thought that your child is somewhere else. They're not with you. And there's so many different levels to this. There's so many different feelings of that, you know, you're alone, or it's quiet, or, you know, you suddenly want to talk to somebody, they're not there, or, you know, you come back to an empty home, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I mean, having a pet, we've got a pet dog, that helps, of course, because you've always got somebody who's always happy to see you when you're home. And look, most teenagers, we know they spend it most of the time in their bedrooms as well. So a lot of time the house was kind of empty, but because they're always upstairs as well. But it's a weird thing. And I never thought I'd experience it as well, you know, being more stoic, I suppose. But I never thought I'd experience it, but you do feel it. And I'm not saying this is a tearjerker time and all that kind of stuff, but what I'm saying, it is a kind of it's a weird sensation, odd sensation. It is an emotional sensation as well, you know. So, you know, the fleeing the nest or leaving the nest, the empty nest syndrome is a thing. It's a thing. I mean, it can become a real thing where it affects people adversely. But obviously, you know, especially if you're together as a couple, help each other through that as well. You know, working through whatever it is you need to work through, you know, supporting each other through that period. But certainly from my point of view, from a dad's point of view, yeah, you kind of lost your pal, your mate, your son, of course, in my case. But you've lost that friend that you could just talk to about the stuff that you used to talk about, or the things that you just mock each other or make fun of each other. And now they're not there. You kind of think, well, you know, yes, I know there's a thing called a telephone. Yes, and I know there's a thing called video calling, and FaceTime and all that, which we have been doing. But at the same time, because they have left the nest, you don't want to be hounding them every 5 minutes with, oh, are you getting on okay? You know, you eating okay? You washing okay? You taking care of yourself? All that kind of stuff. You need to be able to give them space to breathe as well. So that's part of it. That's part of them leaving the nest. It's giving themselves time to grow up, find out things for themselves and learn about things as well. You always worry about your child. Are they ever going to be able to take care of themselves? Are they ever going to grow up? Are they ever going to do this? Well, this is a time where they do grow up. They do find out about things. They do work out how to do things for themselves and not so reliant on you. You know, but it still hurts. It still is a weird thing. So the empty nest syndrome for dads, yes, definitely does. It is a thing. And for mums, of course, it is a thing as well. I'm not going to discount mums here, but no, it's for both. But definitely for mums, it definitely is a thing. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell for all future videos, and I will catch you again in another video coming very soon. Bye now. Have your kids gone back to school? Parents are in heaven. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. Hope you're well. So this video is all about, well, school has just started here in the UK a week or so ago. Kids have gone back to school. Parents can breathe a sigh of relief. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I met this chap the other day and we kind of got talking about the summer holidays here in the UK. It's what, 6-7 weeks. And we're just saying it's way too long, way too long. Other parts of the world, they have even longer summer holidays as well. I think in the United States, it's probably, what, 12 weeks? Something ridiculous like that. But here, it's just way too long. And this puts a pressure not only on families, on parents, to entertain their kids for the summer, of course, to keep them occupied. But also, it puts a financial strain on them. But also, you may not be able to work. You know, there's always an issue here about childcare and everything like that. If you've got grandparents, that's great. You can carry on working, especially if they're nearby. But in some cases, you can't. Let's say if you want to go on holiday, and you can only take your children out of school time to go on holiday, then the cost of that just grows exponentially just because it's summer holidays, excess fees, as it were. So when they go back to school, all of a sudden everybody starts to breathe a sigh of relief. Oh, thank crikey, the kids are going back to school. Not that you don't love your kids, not that you hate your kids, that you don't want to see them around. It's just that all of a sudden that pressure of 6 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever it is, just grows and grows and grows. And you think, crikey, I can't entertain them all the time. I can't do things. We don't have the financial power to do this. We don't have the time to do this as well. You know, especially if you're both working parents, of course. If one of the parents isn't working, they're a stay-at-home mum or a dad, yes, that is a lot easier, of course. But still, you know, having everybody together all that time, yeah, is a pressure. And this is the same kind of pressure that people were dealing with in COVID, of course, because everybody was forced to spend a lot more time with each other than they normally would, you see. So this is exactly the same. Kids get bored. They want attention. They want to go and do things. They want to be entertained, especially modern kids. And, you know, parents feel that pressure as well. So now they've gone back to school. You're ramped up, all getting all their uniforms and all their pencils and their pencil cases and everything going back to school. You drop them off at school and you go that very first day and it's, oh, thank God. Thank crikey for that. Now they've been there for a week or two and you think, oh, this is just better. It gets better and better and better. Now, of course, they come home at 3:30 or whatever it is, 4 o'clock, but still, you've got those few hours just to decompress. And this will probably carry on for the next couple of months, and then you'll just get into the swing of it as well. Then you'll have to prepare for the Christmas holidays and the Easter holidays and the half-term breaks in between, and then it's all raises the pressure again just for those short periods. But this long period in the summer, you know, I felt it just like most parents feel it. And it's interesting that many other people do believe that it's just way too long. And there has been a movement in this country to not only just cut it down to, let's say, 4 weeks possibly or 3 weeks and just add that extra time onto, let's say, maybe a little bit at Easter, a little bit at Christmas, just to even out throughout the year as opposed to just giving one big chunk in the summer. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Is the school holidays, or are the school holidays, wherever you are they too long? Do you feel the pressure that, you know, your kids are just around and having to entertain them for all that length of time? Or do you send them away on some activity, let's say a summer camp or whatever it is, and you're so relieved when they do go back to school and you're in parent heaven again. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. And I will catch you again in another video coming very soon. Bye now. Can you trust the TV news media anymore? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. So can you trust the TV news media anymore? The problem with mainstream media in general is that sometimes it just doesn't represent the people, or it doesn't bring the stories in an unbiased way. We've seen it so many times where with the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, they have their own agendas. And then you look at rolling news TV stations, and you think you're just regurgitating the same thing, and you're getting the stories wrong. It's not 100% objective in all cases where it should be. There seems to be that the reporter has a certain agenda against either a politician or whomever they're interviewing or whatever they're reporting on. This is the news feed that I'm getting. And is it beneficial to me? Does it give me what I actually need? Does it give me an unbiased view? And they'll say, oh yes, we're unbiased. But they're not. They've been found out so many times. And not only just in this country. If you look in the United States and the polarity between different news stations, news outlets, and the way they lie and deceive, and they have their agendas against certain people or certain points of view, whether they're left-leaning or right-leaning. And if you've got a left-leaning TV news station, then all of a sudden they start attacking somebody with a right-leaning point of view. Then you think, well, this is not being objective. This is being political. This is serving your own means. We are of this political persuasion, and we're going to attack that person. And that's not what news media is about. News media is supposed to be completely objective. It's not supposed to stand for one side or the other in terms of the way it delivers news and the way it investigates news and the way it researches their stories. It's about being objective, sitting right in the middle and just looking at what stories are developing and what points of view. That's journalism. That's what it's supposed to be about. But unfortunately, we've moved away from that. We've moved away from stories and finding the truth and trying to be objective. And it's more about clickbait, sensationalism. It's about news media fighting against each other. I was speaking to somebody many years ago about this, and they were working in the news media themselves, and they were subcontracting out to the news media. But essentially, they worked on a day-to-day basis with journalists and editors and producers. And they said, actually, their only consideration is not the story. It's not bringing it in the best possible way. Their only consideration is to bring that story either out first or bring it out in a much better way than their competitors. In other words, the other news stations. That's their only consideration. So that's why over recent years, more and more flaws have got into broadcast journalism. And you can hear it on the radio or see it on the TV when they're making mistakes. And you think, well, hold on, that's not correct. What have you just said there? That's not correct. And you might have these watchdog programs, that kind of hold these news stations up to account. At the same time, they're still creating these issues. They still repeatedly do these things. Now, whether you're talking about the BBC and all the shenanigans that go on there historically, whether it's newsreaders or TV personalities, or it could be any other station, whether you get a Channel 4 presenter who's trying to attack some guest, verbally attack some guest, but then they have egg on their face because they really haven't researched the guest at all, and they have no idea what this person stands for, really. Then you're getting a huge backlash against whole of TV news media from the internet. Because the internet has basically woken up over the last sort of 15, 20 years in terms of independent opinion, independent thought, being objective, bringing a different opinion. And not only social media, but also, platforms like YouTube and, podcasts and everything like that, where people are having discussions amongst themselves. And they're saying, look, I can get this news. We can deliver this news from here. You don't have to go to TV news media, because actually what they're saying is actually complete nonsense. And what we're giving you is at least the truth as far as we see it, of what we are bringing you. We're bringing you an opinion that they don't even want to talk about. We're bringing you information that you won't find on news media. And that's the problem. The problem is that TV news media has changed. I still watch the news from time to time, but a lot of it is sensationalist, a lot of it is depressing, I've got to say, and a lot of it is biased and based on an agenda that they might have. Now, again, you can't really label this on all TV news media, and you can't really label this on all broadcast journalists. However, there has been a movement, and you kind of look at it and you think, well, if I just had to rely on TV news media, then I wouldn't have the full picture. That's why going to in the internet, as I say, you got to be careful when you go to the internet as well, what information you get from there, because we know there's a lot of warped ideas, a lot of warped information and incorrect information coming from the media, and also coming from the internet, especially social media, where you've got to be incredibly careful of what you're reading and what you're believing. My take on this is that no matter where I'm receiving this information from, whether it's TV news media, whether it's the internet in particular, any search engine. I'm not just talking about Google. It could be anything. Whether it's social media, whether it's YouTube or whatever it is. Whatever platform I'm getting my information from, even hard copy magazines or newspapers, those things that are diminishing by the day. But wherever I'm getting that information from, you've got to kind of be objective. You can't just readily accept everything. You can't just readily believe everything that you're being told or that you're hearing or seeing or reading. You've got to have an objective point of view to say, okay, this is their opinion. This is what they're bringing me, but I need to know more. Even if you're getting visual evidence of what you're seeing. Well, we know sometimes visual evidence can be corrupted, but also it's about context. We don't really know the whole story. We don't know what's caused that to happen. And that's the whole point. Sometimes TV news media and any media is reporting what's happened and not necessarily what's caused this to happen. And then there's a big backlash against what has happened and not necessarily what's caused it as well. And then you're getting people of different agendas, different persuasions, trying to pull the story in so many different ways. And this is a responsibility of TV news media, from my point of view, is to make sure that the story is not pulled in so many different directions where it warps the truth. And that's what we want. We always want the truth. Or we, as individuals, should always be seeking the truth. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. And I will catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now. American politics is a farce. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the channel. Hope you're all well. So the more I look at American politics and the way they're campaigning for the US presidential election, the more I think it's a complete farce. And last week they had the first debate with Trump against Kamala Harris, and it was like two children up there just bickering, and just the way they act and the language which they use, and not only just in that debate but also the run up to it. They're doing it with Trump against Biden. And it's become a very polarized voting system in the United States. But I think it's not just the United States, it's everywhere. You're either that side or you're that side. And nobody could ever see across the divide a little bit. There's no cross-meshing sometimes. Or certainly that's the way the media and the way the online world would have you think. And certainly the way the politicians talk, you think, well, what's going on? This is just craziness. You would hope that most people in the world, let's just say the United States right now, because this is what we're talking about, American politics is a farce. Most people, wherever they are in the United States, would kind of be in the middle, right? They'd have right side leanings on certain issues. They'd have left side leanings on some issues. But at the end of the day, just like everybody else in the world, you want to be able to provide for your family, have some kind of employment, provide for your family, live in peace, meet a girl, get married if you like, have a family, have some fun with your friends, that kind of thing, and have a safe community. That's essentially what you want, right? That's what people want. They want to live in harmony with whomever they're living with. You don't want to live in fear. You don't want to live with gun violence. You don't want to live with, poverty and all these kinds of things. So whatever's happening in the recent years, most people would want that in the middle, and most people would have a bit of left and a bit of right in them. But all of a sudden, you're being pushed into either going right, totally right, or going left, totally left. I just don't think life is like that. Then you got politicians, whomever they are, left and right, and you think, what are you doing? You're just acting like children. And the shots that they're shooting across the bow at each other, it's just like, are you grown-ups here? Then as voters, you're supposed to vote for these clowns? And then you wonder what the hell is going on. So this is an outsider looking in. We got the same problems here in the UK. In every country, people voting for their leaders that have exactly the same problem. You kind of look at them and going, I've got to vote for you. I've got to vote for you, your party, and what you stand for. And I don't believe in everything that you say, but and I certainly don't believe in everything you say, but I probably believe a little bit more of what you're saying. I don't. And it comes to a point where you think, well, it's the lesser of the two evils. It's the lesser of, you probably look at Trump just throwing it all up in the air. And you kind of saw this with Trump against Clinton. You kind of think, well, who's the worst of these two? And you kind of think, well, they're both shady in some respects. They're both right in some respects. Then Trump gets in. All the stuff that he was having to deal with, all the stuff that he was doing as well, all the problems that he's created himself, all the shady stuff that they've taken him to court over. And, any other person would have gone to jail by now, right? But, oh no, he's still in, he's still out there. Then you look at then Biden gets in and you think, well, what the hell was that all about? Probably the worst president the United States have ever seen, in terms of public perception of that person. He stands down for the next campaign. The vice president comes in that nobody's really voted for to come in. And then all of a sudden you think, well, there's this polarity between the two candidates, between the two parties, that you probably think, but the Democratic Party probably wouldn't have had Kamala Harris as their leading campaigner, their leading candidate. The Republican Party wouldn't have had the Trump as their leader campaigner. And then you think, well, is this these two people, individuals, is it their problem? Or is it the parties as a whole that they can't get somebody younger and somebody more appealing to the masses to vote for them? But the thing is, both parties have made people go left or right. So that's why in the last presidential election against Biden and Trump, most turnout ever, I believe. I think both sides got millions and millions of voters. I can't remember what it was, 60, 70, 80 million on each side, something like that, which is, an amazing, it's an amazing turnout. And then you got to talk about, voter fraud and all this kind of stuff. But it's a farce. When the United States, hold up other countries to, for their voting standards and make sure that they're voting correctly, and then you look at their own system, the American system, you think, well, there's so many holes in this. And maybe this is what, Trump was trying to say to people. There's so many holes in this, so many problems with this. There's so much fraud going on here, so many dirty deals. But it doesn't even have to get as far as the voting booth. It's what's happening before. All the TV stations, news stations, the online stuff, how they're influencing people to go in one way or another. And who's fighting back and who's trying to tell you, that what they're saying is completely wrong, or just trying to say, look, this is a farce. And before you kind of look at the right side of the aisle, Republican Party, conservatives over here, as being, a certain way. But then they've kind of been diluted and changed a little bit. Then you got the left side of the party, the left side of the aisle, or the Labour Party on this side. You think they were more, let's say, the peace-loving people of before, but now they're the big warmongers. And you think, hold on, their roles have changed as well. The people have changed, and they're trying to still get you to vote one way or another. So you get Trump, who gets on a presidential debate with Harris, and he kind of dumps on her, and he's getting a tough ride. She's getting an easy ride. Then you kind of believe, do you believe her? Do you even believe him? Who do you believe in? Who are you going to vote for? Who are you going to believe? So again, the presidential election and Trump and Harris, it's kind of replicated all over the world. But it's a complete farce, especially when America is supposed to be, something that we hold up to say, well, this is the example. And then they're critical of, other countries why not having proper presidential elections or, local elections, or they're fixed. Well, sort your own house out first. I mean, it's not a good system. It's not a good system just to have essentially two parties. It's either red or blue, black or white, whatever it is. You need to have more people involved. And this is what people are calling for, more parties involved. Not have so much influence by lobbyists, not so much by corporate funding as well. Just try and get away from that. Just get it back to people voting for whomever they want. And if you want something, if you're going to vote for somebody, you're going to vote for somebody local, somebody who's tangible, who's going to be fighting for your local area. Your local MP, your local councillor, your local wardsman, whatever it is, whoever's local for you, they're the ones who are going to be able to affect more change. That's going to affect your person, or it's going to affect you personally. It's going to affect your day-to-day life. If you're voting for, the Prime Minister or the President here or whatever, the Emperor there, well, they're looking at a national scale. They don't care about you. They don't care about your environment. They don't care about exactly where you live. So what they want you to vote for, or as regards them, may not even apply to you. Even if, let's say, you're a strong Trump supporter and you vote for Trump, or you vote for Harris, whatever it is, you vote for Starmer, you vote for whomever, right? It doesn't make a difference, really, because locally to you, those policies don't really apply. Trump gets into power and all of a sudden it might be exactly the same for you, or it might have improved. You just don't know. The criticism that he was getting, he's going to be all evil, the world is going to end before he gets into power. Well, he didn't, did he? It didn't. It just went on okay. He got on with things. Yes, he was criticised for a lot of things, but the world didn't end. There wasn't World War III. Now we're on the brink of World War III in some cases, in some people's eyes. Well, who's been under the control of that? Well, guess what? Warmonger Biden. He's been, banging that drum as well, hasn't he? It's not always clear-cut. And especially when you have this childish behaviour, this kind of media frenzy where you're having to be pushed left or right, all of a sudden the whole thing becomes a farce. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell for future videos, and I will catch you again in another video coming very soon. Bye now.